All right. I think that's good. At least we can get started with this, get as far as we can, and then maybe we can have a follow-up in some other venue that the technology is working better.
Okay.
All right. So
I'll do my best.
Let me introduce myself really quick for any new viewers. I go by I Can Science That, and I have a YouTube channel dedicated to honest investigation of everyday science. Really, and that has come to mean a lot of people who have deep questions about everyday science. Like, is that true? Is that really true? Okay. And a lot of it is like, we'll talk about some of it today, maybe. But the principle is honest. We're going to be honest as we do investigations. We're not just going to accept things, and we are going to be friendly with each other about it. Okay, Bev, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, yeah, I'm Bev Try Thinking. I'm definitely not a flat earther. And what we are doing here tonight is a test that we have devised called Realizing Euclid. It's been a long time thing with a group of us. And basically what we've done is we've gone into logic and geometry to find a very simple test to try and find the, as you say, the most simple way you could describe what a proof is and try and replicate that in reality. That's all we try and do.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. And so we talked before about this a little bit. The way I bumped into you in the first place, I think, is through Cambridge Skeptics. So let me put that up here. I'll put that on the thing. This video is an interview I did on Cambridge Skeptics, where I was talking about how to be a better skeptic. We called it How to Be a Better Flat Earther, which obviously doesn't apply to you because that's not you, but how to be a better skeptic, which I think applies to all of us. And Bev, you and I, we agreed on a lot of those topics that was there, but maybe not everything. Is that fair?
Yeah, I seem to quite like the way that you did that. You went over how to better critically think about these tests and stuff that obviously people should be doing, right? People should be thinking more critically about this sort of stuff. And yeah, I commended you for that.
Yeah. So my main points on that one were we should test things. We don't just accept them. And we also, at the same time, we don't just dismiss them. Somebody comes to us with a crazy plan, crazy scheme, like the sky is green, right? The sky is green. You could just dismiss them, but maybe you ought to go and look and check for yourself, right? So that's one thing. So we can test things is one of the big principles I like to get across, that it's possible to create a test for things that you'd think maybe you just have to take on faith. Turns out you can test a lot of stuff. So that's my first point. And you agree with that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the other one is watch out for what I called useless tests, which is a test that cannot discern the truth of the matter, right? The purpose of a test, would you agree the purpose of a test is to discern something?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So if your test is incapable of discerning the truth or falsehood of the question, that test is no good, and we shouldn't be confused by it. Okay, so that's that. And then after that, we talked, I don't have a link to it. Maybe you have a link. If you have a link to our previous discussion, I think you have a video on that. You could throw it in here if you want.
I don't know for which one.
Oh yeah, you know, I think
when you came over.
Yeah, I came over there twice. But the second time we talked about your Realizing Euclid test.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be relevant today.
Yeah, I saw that. You put level test, did you? For the title of this particular video.
This video we're on now is called Live Discussion with Bev about the level test.
Right, yeah.
I've been calling it level test.
But
you call it realizing Euclid, I think.
Yeah,
maybe a better.
Have you seen the have you ever looked at Euclid in the Proposition 1, Book 11?
Yeah, we went through all that in the previous.
Well, that's what it is. It's not a level test. It's that.
But it involves levels, right?
Well,
so
we use a water level to be able to do the Euclidean test. That is the tool that we decided to use to keep it cheap.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you just the water levels were a tool you used in the test. The test you call it realizing Euclid. And while I'm here, I want to stress that spot on level is someone who did the test with you and helped design this test and really deserves a lot of credit for it, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that went together to design the test, but yeah, me and Spot On were the ones that actually acquired the water levels and did the test.
Okay. What I'd like to do, if you're cool with this, is so there was some question after we talked. Some people seemed to be saying that I did not understand your test or I didn't represent it fairly. And so what I'd like to do is sort of do a steelman. I would like to describe for the audience with my diagrams what your test was. And if I make a mistake, you correct me.
Okay.
All right. So let me see. Slideshow, go. And sharing screen, that one, go. Okay, and I can get rid of our faces. Y'all don't need to see us. Okay, so here is Bev and Spot On Levels water level test. I'm calling it water level test. My apologies. You like to call that realizing Euclid. So it starts with a water level. It's a long water level. If I remember correctly, it has multiple risers on it, 4 of them. And the first 2 here are 200 meters apart. And then 100 meters and then 100 meters.
400 meter total, yes.
So it's a total of 400 meters from end to end there. Okay. And then you bring in a second one just like it, another 400 meter level, and you overlap them.
Yes.
Okay. And so this distance here, that's 400 meters, and there's a 200, and there's a 200. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay. And the way I've drawn it, I'm trying to show that these two are very close to each other, close enough that you can literally just sort of measure the difference in the water level between them. That right?
Yeah, they're next to each other.
They're next to each other, right? Yeah. And yeah, so this one's like 200 meters from there, but then these two are just right next, and then 100 meters, and then they're right next to each other, 100 meters. Okay, and then we have some observers. I just put in, stick people here. And what you're going to do is you're going to start at one end, and there's the dimensions. And then you're going to go and physically walk your 200 meters. And then presumably, did you get out like a ruler or something to measure the difference between the water levels?
No, they're next to each other.
And so the levels of the water level in the 2 levels, how did that compare in your example?
Just like you see there.
Exactly the same. The water levels
next to each other, yes.
Bang on.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you go to the next one and you say, hey, are they the same? And then you go to the last overlap and say, hey, are they the same?
Yeah.
And in your test, they were all 3 right there with each other. Okay. And now let me try to explain my understanding of what this test was designed to discern. Is that good?
If you give us your impression of what.
Okay. my impression of what we're trying to discern with this test is whether those two water levels are following straight lines. Is that reasonably close? What would you say?
Well, the test for, well, I'll get you a thing. I have all of these ready for you. Proposition 1, book 11, Euclid states, one part of a straight line cannot be in a plane and another part without it.
Okay,
so it
this
shows,
is a test.
Yeah.
So this is a test to discern the truth or falsehood of that statement?
Yes. This is realizing Euclid. We are making this book 11, solid geometry. We are making it in reality. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So you start with the presumption, I guess, that the water level creates a plane.
Yes. It is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
Okay. Let me ask you this. How long did it take you to do this test?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, that's a pretty 2 by 400 meter long tubes filled with water balanced. You got to go walk out, set them up, prop them up on sticks or something, pour water into them, make sure the water is at exactly the same level, walk up and down, film the whole thing.
Yeah, the water levels were already filled. Well, mine was filled already, and we filled spot-ons on the day.
So hours, days? How long did it take?
Oh yeah, it was just like a full day.
Full day.
Yeah.
Full day. Okay. Let me just do something here. You're gonna probably feel this is a little ridiculous, but what I don't understand is why the water levels? Why do we need water levels to do this test? Why not something else that's a straight line?
Right. Well, that was the thing. It came down to a cost thing. We realized that initially at first it was going to be, we said 2 miles. Then we realized, well, that's 2 miles, well, 4 miles of pipe really to be doing it. And who wants 4 miles of hose pipe? What do you do with it? It'd be like a complete and utter waste. So the idea was to make it as simple and cost effective as possible so anybody can do it. We were given some numbers, and that gave us the ability to make it shorter, make it smaller.
Okay.
And then we realized the water level was the cheapest way of us doing it.
I would propose that if your goal is just to realize Euclid, you could do it much cheaper and much easier. Let me demonstrate. I have here a piece of spaghetti. It's a straight line. I have a second one. If I overlap them, right? Them, I make a single straight line.
Yeah.
Did I just realize Euclid? I just verify Euclid's first postulate?
Well, it is in a plane. You see, that's the thing. It's a plane that you need to establish because book 11 is the solid geometry.
I'll put them on a cell phone to make sure that we have a plane. Now, have I realized Euclid?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think my test has all the elements that you listed you wanted. I've got a plane, and then I have a line that lies within the plane, and another line lying within the plane. That's all you asked for. So I did it. And I did it in seconds. Why did you guys spend so much money and time? There must be something more.
What?
I mean, surely you have other straight lines and planes.
I don't know. I'm not really with you. What's a tool for establishing a plane? What tool would you really go to spaghetti?
I used a cell phone. Would you agree that the face of my cell phone is a plane?
Well, I don't know. Would you get anybody, because this is realizing Euclid, right?
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah. So we need a plane.
uh-huh.
So here I have a plane.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between my plane and your plane?
No.
Then, I mean, I don't want to diss your test or anything, but it seems like you went to a whole lot of effort here. That
Yeah, we
doesn't
had a good
seem
time.
necessary.
Oh, why? What do you mean don't seem necessary?
Seems
We had a
like,
great time. Me and my lads had a great day out. We got a load of good filming. I got to have a day out. We spot on. We did a test.
okay.
I don't like what.
All right. No, that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
And so I want to clarify something that I think is a misunderstanding about your test. I think people are misrepresenting your test, possibly including myself. I think a lot of people think that your test was designed to show that water levels create a plane.
No, we know that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, right? I mean,
right. So this test of yours in no way questions that fact. It does not discern the plane or linearness of water levels.
well, obviously, if we want to establish realizing Euclid, you have to start off with something that establishes a plane. Do you not?
I don't know. It was your idea to realize Euclid. I didn't know what you were trying to do, right?
Yeah. That's it.
And what does that mean, realizing Euclid? As you explained it to me, it was you take a plane, you make a line within the plane, right? You take a plane. I think we can all agree that this is pretty planar, very planar, and that there's a line. So
Spaghetti.
now I have a line within a plane, right? So
Spaghetti on a phone. But I mean, yeah,
spaghetti on a phone would do the trick. But I guess I didn't get the fresh air and sunshine that you guys did, right? And the time out with buds.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely worth.
We did it at the side of the canal. It was great.
Yeah. Okay. So that sounds really good. I just want to make sure, and I think this is your opportunity right here to make it really clear that in your test, you in no way were attempting to discern that water levels are horizontal, are planar, are linear. That was not part of the test, and this test does not show it in any way.
It uses it, doesn't it, in order to establish that plane?
Right. You make the assumption and then just run with it.
No. It in order to be able to say that no straight line, no part of a straight line can lie within a plane and another part without it, or in a higher plane, or whatever, right? That's what the test is there to show, whether we can actually realize Euclid.
Whether you can realize Euclid. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why that's a question. Can you realize Euclid? I did it with spaghetti and a cell phone, so of course you can. Right? Why would this be a big question?
Why would what be a big question? Whether you can realize Euclid.
Realize Euclid? Yeah, right. I mean, with pennies.
I mean, well, yeah, you could do it just by drawing a circle and saying it's got, the ratio of this circle, the diameter to the circumference. It gives you pi. I mean, boom, done it. I've realized Euclid. But that's not really the same sort of thing. I mean, if you know what we do when we go out to show people what happens with these surveying tools, and we're definitely all about level.
Okay.
That's the server.
Okay.
We've been on the level first, and then next level.
Okay. Let me move on to the next slide. This is something that wasn't in my previous video, that after talking with you some more, I thought maybe your hypothesis was this, that perhaps the two water levels independently created two planes, and your test was designed to discern whether or not those planes were parallel. Is that what you were trying to test? Or you can just shut that down right now and say, no, we're not doing that?
Well, I mean, that's what the Euclid thing was to show, that you can't have part of that in one plane and part of it in the other. I mean, there's obviously not going to be a slope like that. I mean, you can't get water to go uphill, can you?
No, right. Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous, that.
Right. So this wasn't, the test wasn't designed to show that then. That wasn't what you were trying to discern.
No, I mean, how could you do that? That's definitely got water going uphill, hasn't it?
That would be my interpretation of it. Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
Okay. And another thing that the test was definitely not to ascertain, or was not trying to discern, was whether or not, I mean, I'm saying it again, whether or not those levels are in fact planar, right? You took that as
levels, yeah.
Point number one. And at no point in your test did you ever have like an if-then statement where you said, if the level is planar, then something. Did you have like an if-then somewhere?
Well, we had I hope we can do this spot on without leaky water levels. So we tested the levels, make sure that they didn't do that. I mean, there was months of preparation of testing for leaks and whatnot. Okay. And then there's obviously getting together to see whether we can actually do it. So, I mean, yeah, there was loads of ifs.
Cool. Okay. Let me, in my video, I showed one more scenario, which it sounds like, talking to you live now, is just like a red herring. This thing is not something you're interested in or discussing at all, but let's show it for clarity here. And that is that perhaps this scenario is how it goes, which is that water levels do not create a plane, but instead create some sort of curve, right?
Again, that looks like it's going uphill again to me.
It does look like that. It looks like it's going uphill, but your test that you've done cannot discern whether this diagram is correct or not.
Well, that doesn't look like a plane to me.
So, yeah, in this test, this is the test where water level does not create a plane.
Well, see, that's why we used water levels, because they do describe a plane, and we wouldn't have been able to realize Euclid if this was what we thought, because that's definitely not a plane, right? Those water levels there are not
not a plane.
So what would you call that then?
This is a diagram of if the water levels do not form a plane, what would happen then? Right. So if water levels form a plane, we get a diagram like one of the first two that I showed. If water levels do not form a plane, we get a diagram perhaps like this one.
Okay.
All right. And I think a lot of people, definitely me, I absolutely had the impression that you were trying to discern whether or not water levels could be verified to form a plane, and that this test would show that. Can you clarify that for me?
We used the water level as a tool that describes a horizontal plane, right? A water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. That's why we used it for Euclid, for realizing Euclid.
Okay, yeah. So you used the water level because you are just taking as given, it's just taken as given, unquestioned, that a water level creates a plane.
Yeah, a horizontal plane. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so if I were to propose maybe a water level does not create a plane, you'd have to answer, I don't know, maybe, but my test will not show that. Is that fair?
Well, the geometric backing that we got goes to with the results that we found. So I would say by getting those results, we did realize Euclid. Now, are you saying that we perhaps didn't realize Euclid?
What I am saying is earlier when I described, hold on in just a minute. I got to put this on because this one makes me chuckle. I'm putting that up there. What we described, and what I described early, was a test that is unable to discern. So I think if we want to apply this test that you conducted to try to discern whether or not the plane was planar, the water level is planar, that this test cannot do that. So making any conclusions about that question would be logically fallacious.
Well,
can you agree to that?
No, you can't really say that a test to establish a plane would be the same as the test to establish a, what have you got there, some sort of a curve.
The test
how could they possibly be both the same?
A test is designed to discern one thing or another.
Yes.
Right? So if we wanted to discern whether or not water levels form a plane, your realizing Euclid test cannot do that.
Why is that?
I thought you just had agreed to that.
No, we use the water level because it's a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference. Are you disagreeing with that statement?
I am saying you have not tested that statement. You are just making that statement.
Would the test not be the realizing Euclid part of it? Because we would like sort of testing whether we could establish a plane having like a shared straight line segment, right?
So let's be super clear. What is the question that you are discerning with your test out of your own words?
It's Euclid. Do you want me to read it out again? Let me read it out.
No, there has to be a question. It has to be a question mark here. Is it true? Is it not true? Your own words.
Can we realize Euclid? Can we do it? And that is proposition 1. One part of a straight line cannot be in a plane and another part without it.
And when you say realize, what I think you mean is make a physical
make it real. Yes.
Make a physical representation out of material objects to demonstrate this.
Yes, make it real.
Okay, so right. Spaghetti and a cell phone, you are done? Yes, you can. Good. I agree then. This is a great demonstration of realizing Euclid. Where people go wrong with it, and I'm not saying you have gone wrong, but I definitely think the Glober side have all gone wrong on this, is to imagine that this somehow was intended to prove that water levels are planar. But it doesn't do that. It's just realizing Euclid. It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not water levels are planar.
Well, in your diagram, they're definitely not the one that you've got on screen right now.
And the emphasis here is I'm diagramming that if the water levels are not planar, as these are clearly not planar, and you conducted your exact same test, the results would be exactly the same.
Okay, now you think they can tell? It's 2022, right? Do you think in 2022 they know the difference between a plane and a not plane?
Who's they?
Whoever. I mean, you don't seem to know. I do, because I know that a water level is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane. But I mean, do you not know?
Let's come back to that. I have a slide even for that, but
Do you
I'd like to
not
just
know
hear
that
you
though?
say- I'd like to hear you just say that if you were to conduct this experiment
It's not an
on a
experiment.
shaped structure like this, and you went to those two risers, you would see that the two risers are exactly at the same level.
That what you're showing there has the middle ones higher than the outside ones.
I'm showing an observer, and the observer is measuring the level of those two waters. Which one of those is higher to him?
That all of those three center ones are all higher
There's
than
only
the two
one.
at the other end.
I'm asking about this pair right
Got
here.
this one here.
And this observer standing at the angle that he's standing at.
Why is he standing at that angle?
Because I've drawn the diagram that way. So just answer the question. If in this scenario, whether it's real or not, it doesn't have to be real. This is just the if game, right? We're hypothesizing. If this is true, the prediction is those two water levels will be at the same level.
Well, water levels would be at the same level, yes.
Okay, let's go to the next one and see what we would measure. We walk to the next one. And now the angle is different.
What angle?
Compare these two.
What angle are you talking about?
The angle of the observer. He's standing this way.
Oh, he's vertical now. He was a bit off vertical before, was he?
He's standing this way.
And that's vertical.
He measures the water level there.
You say the angle's different, right? He's vertical there, is he? And before he wasn't vertical.
I haven't used that word, no. I'm showing you a diagram and I'm asking you, compared to this person and the angle he is standing, those two are at the exact same level.
The way you've drawn that, yeah, but that's not water.
I didn't say it was. I didn't say it was.
I know, it's just a blue line. Yeah.
This is an if.
You've got a guy, what I see, you've got a guy on a hill and he's got his head at the same height as some blue.
No, it's not supposed to be a guy on a hill. It's not.
Well, he's on the top of the hill there.
This is the counterpoint to your original statement that water levels form a plane, right? And I said, you did not test that. If water levels do not form a plane, what might they form? They might form a shape like this. If they did, what result would your test produce? I'm not saying that they do form this odd shape. I'm saying that
they won't, because the water will equal out, won't it? You can obviously see what had happened with the water in these things here.
I want you to go with me on this and just answer the easy questions and don't try to make inferences. Don't try to make logical leaps ahead.
I just live in reality. That's all.
Okay, that's fine. I live in reality too.
Yeah.
And the way a test works is you apply a prediction based on your various hypotheses, right? Okay, and so I have a hypothesis.
Okay, well, are you going to be testing this? Are you going to be testing this?
My hypothesis is that this is how it might happen.
Brilliant. 100 quid it cost us for the two water levels. One for spot on, 100 quid. One for me, 100 quid. You can test it out for yourself.
Right. And I don't know if you heard the words I just said, but this is an if, right? If it is like this, we predict the outcome, okay? And the outcome is that the first two risers were measured to be at the same level. The second two risers are measured to be at the same level. And the third two risers, they are also measured to be at the same level.
Yeah, but when you say level, a level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. Where's the horizontal plane?
I have a slide on that. I promise I have a slide. I just want to explore this possibility.
But that's not a possibility. If a level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, then That's definitely not real.
Okay. What I'm saying is that if it is not real, your test, to be a good test of that question, would show that. Understand?
Well, you know what my test was, or mine spot on's test. You know what it was. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm saying this is entirely consistent with your test, with the exception that this is a diagram that shows what if water levels are not planar.
Okay.
You did not consider that possibility, that water levels are not planar.
No, because we used the water
If
level
we
because
do,
it was a tool, or it is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane. And it was one of the cheapest tools we could get.
Really? You couldn't think of anything cheaper to make a plane?
400 meters. Yeah.
Okay. If your original claim,
what would you use to make a plane?
I used a cell phone.
To make a plane.
It's pre-made plane, and if that's not good enough, I got a desk. I got floors. You know, I got lots of things that I use as planes. So
they are planes.
So going to this effort seems a little silly, but that's up to you, right? You can do what you want. If all you want to do is realize Euclid, that's great. What I'm trying to emphasize here, and I'm trying to help you out, I really am, is that you are not trying to show that this is false. Your test does not disprove this diagram.
Well, that doesn't look like a plane to me.
Can you just say, my test, if the world somehow worked that way, the test that we did would not disprove that?
What?
If the world somehow worked this way, which you don't think it does, but if it did, your test...
Are you saying that you think that is a horizontal plane? Are you going to say, if everybody else that thinks levels that establish a horizontal plane, if they think this is what a horizontal plane is that what you're saying? Because, I mean, that doesn't look like a horizontal plane to me. Definitely not.
I don't believe I used the word horizontal plane.
Well, a level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane. That's why we used a level.
All right. So just for the audience, you all heard I was patient and clear, making very small steps. I have established that with no deference to where I got this from, if the world works this way, this test cannot discern it. So we should not use this test
to
say that this is false.
It's just a realizing Euclid test, right? Don't try and falsify a realizing Euclid test because you've just bent this.
No, I'm not going to falsify your realizing Euclid test. What we need is to understand what you were trying to discern with it, and to understand that this is not, that is not what you were trying to discern.
Absolutely not. No, that is not a plane.
So for all of you debunkers out there who have, and myself included, who have said, hey, Bev's test doesn't show anything, it's because he wasn't trying to show this.
You were trying to debunk the realizing Euclid test. Is that what you were doing? Really?
In my video that I linked earlier, the one with these slides, I explained that your test cannot discern this. What my misunderstanding was that you were trying to, or that you would suggest that it does or can. Can you confirm very clearly for us, you are not saying that your test can discern this?
The test was to show that it was a plane. I'll read it again for you. Right? Realizing Euclid. Says one part of a straight line cannot be in a plane and another part without it. So in between those rises of a water level, right, there is two rises and there's the shortest distance between each point.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a straight line.
Shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Yeah.
Okay, so the test was to show that no part of that straight line can lie within a plane and another part without it, right, outside of the plane.
With the assumption that you've got straight lines and planes.
Yeah, a water level is a level. It's a tool for establishing a horizontal plane, isn't it?
I've got it on the screen. I've got it on the screen right now. What I'm trying to get you to say very clearly, and it doesn't seem like this should be contentious. I don't know why you resist this so hard. Your test made zero effort to determine that your lines were straight or your planes were planes. You took that as given and did not test it or question it.
Yes, I used a water level because it is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. That's why we used a water level. No, I didn't question it. No. Why should I? Okay. Should I have questioned the fact that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane?
Okay.
Please, can you answer me? Should I have questioned it?
Yes, you should, because that is not a mainstream science teaching, what you're saying now. And you should be aware of it. Doesn't mean you need to accept it, but it means I think this deserves a test. All right?
But you think we should be testing that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane? You think we should have established that first?
I think that you and I agreed to this sentence that's on the screen. I don't know if you can see it. It says, a water level is a tool that can be used to establish a horizontal plane of reference.
No, a water level is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference.
That's not the sentence I agreed to. I agreed to the one with the word can be in it.
Okay, well, I say it definitely does establish. That's what a water level tool is.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. I believe you say a water level is a tool that invariably establishes one and only one horizontal plane of reference.
Nah, I've never said that. I say a water level is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference.
Is there any way you could make a water level that does not establish a horizontal?
No, a water level is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference. That's how it's used.
Okay.
Have you seen a water level?
Yes, I have a water level right here.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Is that the one that Bob taught you to do?
But not the second.
I've got a water level as well.
So I agree to the first sentence and not the second.
Okay, well, I don't like that second one. I don't know where you got that from, because I've never said that.
That is what you seem to be saying.
I've never said those words. Never.
Okay.
A water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
Okay, it is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
Yes. As are all levels.
Okay. Does that mean there is no way to use the tool such that you do not get a horizontal plane of reference?
I wouldn't know of it. Can you show us
saying that the level does a thing, that it's a tool that does a thing, like saying a screwdriver is a tool that drives screws. Does that mean holding a screwdriver means I am driving screws?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it means you're making...
Well, give me an example then of how you would use a water level to not establish a horizontal plane of reference. Just give us a rough one.
Yes. If you put 3 risers on your water level, you will find that the three risers are not in a plane.
So you're saying that realizing Euclid, we would
Technically, it's a
not
plane,
have
but it's
them.
not the horizontal plane you're talking about, right?
But you're saying that the realizing Euclid would have failed if according to what you've just said.
No, I'm saying standard science textbook says this occurs.
I don't think so. I mean, that looks like that one on they're definitely higher.
Okay, so that's the last thing I really wanted to talk about. Before we go on, I wanted to finish this.
Did you?
I want to finish this water level thing. You stress over and over again. That's not what I said.
Can you put a red line through that? Because like I haven't even said that.
Correct. Which word is not correct?
The whole second bit there.
So a water level is a tool. Correct or not correct?
That's definitely true.
The water level establishes a horizontal plane of reference.
Yeah.
Are there more than one horizontal plane of reference that the water level can establish?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. And then how does that work?
You just move one end of the water level up a little bit higher, and then it will equalize to establish a new horizontal plane of reference.
I see. Okay. If I said one and only one at a time, would that be fair?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's add at a time on there.
Why? At a time. A water level is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference.
At a time.
Oh God.
Okay,
do not add that. You're adding that. Don't add silly stuff that isn't needed. A water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, is my statement.
Okay, you tell me what's wrong with this statement now. Does it establish one and only one horizontal plane of reference at a time?
Can you please write a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference? Because that's what I say. Don't write anything that I don't say. Please.
For establishing. Okay, let's put that up. These, I believe, are your exact words now.
If it says a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. There you go. That's good.
Okay. Does that mean the following statement, or is this an error in logic somewhere? Are these equivalent?
I'm not. What's invariably mean? I mean, I haven't ever used that. What's that? What does that word in there mean? Why have you added that word in there?
Because you seem to be saying that you don't have to question whether or not your water level is a plane.
No, it's a statement I make. It's a statement I make. Look, a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. Now, if you don't agree with that, that's fine. You don't have to agree with that. But that's what I say.
I think that first sentence isn't entirely wrong, but the way you apply it is wrong.
What do you mean the way I apply it?
But
I apply it by using a water level to establish a horizontal plane of reference.
You have said that because a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, I put a water level out, and I know that I have a horizontal plane of reference. Agreed?
If you put a water level out, and you've made sure it's got no air bubbles in, and you've not got any blockages, then yeah, it will establish a horizontal plane of reference, right?
No.
What?
It will not.
A water level won't establish.
That is a logical leap that you can't support.
Who can't support it?
Because a tool does a thing, that tool did the thing.
Okay. So
right? That's what you said. Because a tool does a thing, therefore that tool did a thing.
Uh-huh.
And you don't see the logical hole there?
What are you saying?
I'm saying because a screwdriver drives screws. Because a tool did a thing. Because a screwdriver drives screws. The screwdriver drove the screw. No, I don't know that. I could say, if I used the screwdriver properly, I was driving a screw with it. I could say that. You see the difference?
Oh, well, a water level is still a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. Right? Are you saying it's not?
Are you saying that you can prove that a water level's plane is horizontal?
A water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. I hope a water level establishes a horizontal plane of reference. Are you saying we should check that a water level establishes a horizontal plane of reference? And
yes.
How would we do that?
How would we do that?
Good idea.
I want to start with...
Because you said you're doing a level test. So how would you test level?
All I wanted to do here today, Bev, was to get you to say out loud for all listeners, your test does not establish that.
My test doesn't establish what?
That horizontal, that water levels, this statement of yours, which I have added some extra words to.
So it's not my statement then, is it? You can't just say it's my statement and that you've added words to. Mm-hmm. That's pretty dishonest.
No, that's not what I meant to say.
That is what you said, though.
This is how you're using it. You don't agree. But you are saying that you used a water level and did not question that what you got from it was a plane.
We used a water level to do a test to realize Euclid. Now,
no.
I hope we are going to come out of this with a test that you think you can do to science a water level, please.
Whether it created a plane. I'm going to put this on the screen, and I want you to. The idea here is, Askin keeps saying I'm angry. If you think this is angry, gosh, I don't. I'm not angry. I'm trying to do what's called a steel man. I want to completely understand what you're saying. I don't want to misinterpret.
It's not hard to hear what I'm saying, right? A water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
And then you say, I'm putting words here. You tell me, are they correct? We used a water level. In fact, let me get these off the screen here because you don't like those. We used a water level and did not question whether it created a plane. Seems like a pretty easy thing to agree to.
The water level is a tool. It's a level, right?
And have you ever questioned whether that tool was creating a plane?
Levels, no. Never questioned it because that's what they do. They establish horizontal planes of reference.
Okay. So back when we started, right, the first thing we agreed to was critical thinking was that we test our assumptions. We create a test to see whether something is true. And you're saying, no, I'm not gonna.
Who's saying no? It's you.
I believe you are.
No,
I'm hearing you say.
No. I'm saying we did a test realizing Euclid. We used a tool, a water level, that establishes a horizontal plane of reference to do the test. You're saying, nuh-uh. That's you.
No, I'm saying you did not question your original statement that the water level creates a plane.
I'm saying you are questioning it. You.
I am questioning it.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
But you have never.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
No, because I know a level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
Great. So, I mean, hopefully we can come together on this, and we've got a lot of folks from both sides. I wish we didn't have to have sides, but we got a lot of folks from both sides in the chat here. Hope everyone can agree. This water level test, this realizing Euclid test.
You say both sides? Like, what do you mean? The geometry side or the water levels establishing a horizontal plane side? Which sides are we talking about here?
There are two sides to this question. The one side says water levels invariably create horizontal planes. The other side says no, water levels actually conform to a curved shape, right? Okay. So there's two sides, and we can all agree that the test you performed was not designed to discern between them. It cannot discern between them.
It only works with the plane, because that's what the test. That's what the test was meant to do. No, because that's not a plane.
It also works exactly the same.
That doesn't have the geometric backing that Euclid does. That's why we did the Euclid test.
Planes. It doesn't have.
Or do you? Sorry, do you have the geometric backing?
Do I have geometric backing? Yes, I have plenty of geometric backing.
For this array?
Yes, plenty.
Okay. So,
but
like where we've got the Euclid
relevant.
test, do you have the opposing one that validifies this, that we can put together with it and then we can check it?
I'm sorry, I don't even understand your question.
Well, I showed you when we did our test, it comes with geometric backing. Vesica Pisces, perpendicular, straight lines, planes.
Yes, it does. Rob Parks, I have now completely lost what the point of the stream is. Let me cycle it back. What is the point of the stream? The point of the stream is to make it clear to all of us that this test you performed produces the exact same result in a planar level, water level. If a water level creates a plane as you proposed, that result is the exact same result as, mainstream science teaches us is supposed to happen where water level creates this curve.
You're not trying to say that a horizontal plane is a curve, are you?
I don't believe I said those words.
No. Well, a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane. And you're saying this is what would happen. So therefore that would make this a horizontal plane, wouldn't it?
What I'm saying is that I have heard two stories. I've heard two stories about the water level. And I'm going to be a skeptic. When I hear two stories, I don't just dig down in my gut and just decide which one I'm going to believe in, right? I want to see a test.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, you agree. So I've heard two stories. One story is that water levels form a plane.
Yeah.
Another story is water levels form a curve.
Wow.
Let me ask you this. Well, before we go on.
Who told you the story about the curve?
Well, before we go to that story about the curve, would you agree, now that you've heard it from me now, you've heard the story from me.
Yeah, but you've never told us where you got that story from. I mean, you could have heard that story from a crazy dude.
I could have just made it up.
Yeah, there you go.
Does it deserve a test, or should we get a little bit more?
I'm hoping you can science it and find it out for yourself, because you're the one that's skeptical, all right? Skeptical of a water level.
You're not skeptical?
I've always used it as establishing a horizontal plane of reference. So
you've never been skeptical of that? Maybe you should be. Maybe now that I proposed this idea, maybe it's something worth a test.
Could you imagine either end not being even elevation or even altitude?
I could imagine, certainly.
Could you? Of a water level?
I can imagine all kinds of things. My imagination is pretty good. How's yours?
rubbish, especially with water levels.
Okay, so
They're both even,
so
right?
I don't know if you're just joking around or you want me to hold you to that you've said you don't have a very good imagination.
I like to realize something, in order to establish it. Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right, so then you asked the other question. So I think, as a skeptic, the way to approach this is when you have two possible things that people are saying, you should ask them, have you ever tested it? Could you test it? Could I test it? That fair?
Well done. Have
So
you
I've
ever
asked you,
tested
have you
it?
ever,
No, I will
I've
ask
asked
you.
you,
Have
first
you
off,
ever
I asked
tested
you,
it?
first, I asked you, have you ever tested it? And
What,
that's
a
no.
water level?
A
Yeah.
water level
We've
creates a
done
plane.
loads. Yep.
Water level creates a plane is
Yep.
a claim that you have never tested.
No, it is. And we've definitely tested it. Do you not think we've tested this?
No, I don't think you have. I think I've heard you say on this stream that you have never questioned it.
No, I didn't say you questioned it. It is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane, but I mean, do you imagine when I said we'd done months of testing, did you imagine that didn't involve testing the water level?
I imagine it did not involve testing the water level for planar alignment. It did not.
Oh.
I have demonstrated that this test you've told us about does not do that.
But in order to make sure it doesn't leak, you surely have to establish that all of the tubes establish a planar surface, right? When you put them
How did you do
all
that?
together.
How did you do that?
When you put them all together, they are all the same.
And from that you inferred that it was planar.
Well, you can separate the water levels, can't you? Once they're together, like that's the thing. You can put the two ends close together, and you can move them far apart. They will always establish a level, even, equal.
But if they don't,
well, do you think one of them will be lower than the other?
If they don't.
What do you mean if they don't?
If they don't establish a plane, how will you identify that? What would be the discernment? How would I discern?
The water would equalize itself, because that's what water does.
So if all the water levels, the three riser pairs, are at the same level,
yeah,
does that establish that they are planar?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'm trying to get to. You are claiming that
a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, yes.
Okay. I think it's really interesting. I want to put something up here. I put Askin. He sort of introduced us. This is bad. I'm feeling kind of sorry for ICST, which would indicate that you're buying this story.
Which one of your stories is he buying?
They're buying your stories. He also thinks I'm angry. Am I coming across as angry to you, Beth?
I don't think so. You look a little bit confused at the minute, but that might be Askin doing that to you.
I think I'm definitely having some confusion, but I don't think I'm angry. So yeah, if anyone else thinks I'm angry, let me know. Okay, Spot On Level says that I'm misrepresenting your test. Bev, am I misrepresenting your test?
With keeping showing that picture on the screen, yeah. That's definitely not our test, right? And you keep showing that on the screen all the time.
In what way is it not your test?
Well, the higher ones are in the middle, and that's not what water levels do.
Okay. And yet you've never heard before that water levels might do something like that, right?
What?
No one's ever said that to you before me.
What, nobody's ever said that water levels have a hump in the middle?
Nobody's ever said that a water level forms a curve. This is the first you've heard of it. Is that correct?
No, loads of people have said it. I've heard people say it's a circle.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So people have said that before.
Yeah,
You're
of course they
aware of
have.
this idea.
Loads of people have said that
Okay.
curves, but no, nothing ever. Just stories, like you keep saying.
Just stories.
Yeah.
And why is it that you think loads of people telling you this does not rise to the level that it should be tested?
You can test it whenever you want. I mean, I'm hoping that you are going to test it for yourself. Yeah, I'm hoping you're going to get your team together and science the shit out of it. It definitely needs it.
It definitely does need it. And you have never done the test.
We've done that test.
The test to establish the planar nature of a water level.
That test there.
You've done this test.
Yes.
And this test does not establish
a plane.
that water levels are planar.
Does it not?
It does not.
Certainly looks like
and
it.
If you're confused by that, I'm going to say maybe we need to go step by step and establish your understanding of the competing hypothesis.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that isn't the plane one. The next one, proposition 2, is the actual plane, to show that 3 straight lines would all lie within the same plane. But that'd be the second one. This is just the straight line within the plane.
What's the second one?
The second proposition, proposition 2.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
In Euclid. In the realizing Euclid, that's a plane. Do you want me to read that one out for you as well? Just so you know really. what we could be coming up with next.
I want to know. I want you to be very clear. It seems to me that you're unwilling to be clear.
It says, I'll give you the second one.
Very clear. That's why I add these extra words into the sentences, right?
Right, you're adding extra
I'd like
words.
you to do that too, to be very clear so that we cannot misunderstand you.
Okay, so the second test is 2 straight lines which cut one another are in one plane, and 3 straight lines which meet one another are in one plane. So first off, we establish the straight line being in a plane, and then we can go on to the next one where we establish 3 straight lines together.
Okay, so on this test that we have on screen right now, if we are to assume that water levels create a plane, then you've done a great job of realizing Euclid.
Jolly good.
Can we agree to that?
Well, that's what we thought we'd done, yeah.
Great. But that does not say that we have proved water levels create a plane, right? That would be circular.
What, a plane would be circular?
Step 1. Water levels are always a plane. Okay, right? Have I misrepresented you at all?
A water level is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference.
Don't add the extra, don't act the weasel.
You just told me to keep adding the extra words to make it more clarity. You can't sort of tell me to take them away.
If they're clarifying, add them. If they're de-clarifying, don't add them. Right? I said the water levels created a plane.
Yeah.
Okay. If on the assumption that the water levels created a plane,
a horizontal plane.
A horizontal plane. Very good. See, that's a clarifier. That's good. So we have here 2 water levels and therefore 2 horizontal planes.
Yes.
Predicated on statement 1, which was that the water levels created horizontal planes.
Yeah.
If 1 is not true, 2 is no good.
Okay.
Fair?
Jolly good.
Okay. 3, they overlap.
Yeah, there is a shared straight line segment in the center.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. There's a shared straight line segment between them.
Yep. As designed, that's the test.
Okay. So then the question is, if those 3 shared segments are at the same height, they also form a plane. Is that correct?
What if the same height? What do you mean?
You tell me. How? Give me to the conclusion now. You've got if water level created a horizontal plane.
Yeah.
I have two of them that overlap. And I see that the level's the same on all three of the overlapping region.
Yeah.
Then what?
Then you've got a shared straight line segment, so that shows that you can extend the straight line in a straight line, and all of the parts of that lie within the same plane.
Agreed. And that statement now is predicated on number one. Number one was what?
You said that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
Okay, so if number one is false, you have done what?
I don't know. So is that what we're trying to get at here? The fact that you don't believe a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference?
I don't believe, I believe there are tools. I believe there are proper uses for tools, and that you are deliberately phrasing it that way to make it sound like your position is reasonable when it is clearly not.
Well, it's an unreasonable position to do a realizing Euclid test. Really?
No, I believe I'm talking about when you said a tool, a horizontal reference, your line. Say your line again. You mean you got it memorized? Give it to me.
Did you say I'm lying?
What I'm saying is that you are taking the statement that a plane is a tool for establishing a horizontal reference, and you are extrapolating from that to say that there is no way this water level is not planar.
I'm just saying that a water level is part of the level family. Therefore, it is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
And does that mean it is perfect at that?
It's over large distances. Yes, it is the most accurate level.
Okay,
yes.
And that I disagree with.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that your I don't know that it does, is what I'm saying. Because
you just disagreed with me for no reason then.
Being skeptical is a good thing, and just accepting what somebody on the internet told me as fact is very foolish.
Right. Do you think that's what we've done? Or do you think we've been going at this for a few years now, talking to hundreds of people about this?
I think what you've done is you did talk to hundreds of people about it, and I'm not the first person to tell you this. Would you confirm that that is true?
To tell me what? What is it you're telling me?
Multiple things. The base of our difference is whether or not we should accept without question that water levels create a horizontal plane.
I think you should test this for yourself, to be honest.
And I think you have never tested this for yourself. I have actually tested it.
You have actually tested a water level?
Absolutely, I have. Yes.
Jolly good.
Yes, many people have done so. And I'm curious whether you have done so.
Tested a water level? Yeah, I've got a 400-meter water level right in front of me, right here.
And how would you propose to test how planar it is?
I've got a 100-meter water level out there as well.
Okay, yeah. How would you propose to test the planar nature of its results?
Well,
we did
for a laugh, we went out there with an auto level and we stretched the 100-meter water level out, and we lifted the water level to the crosshairs on one side, and then we turned the auto level round, and surprisingly enough, it matched the water level on the other side as well.
Did it really?
And then we went and moved the water level, like at the auto level, like you do, shifted it beyond it, and then sighted both of them, and guess what? They were level too.
Okay, so you used an auto level to point at another auto level?
No, the water level.
You pointed an auto level at a water level.
Yeah.
How far away?
Ooh. Well, we did it from the middle, 50 meters at either side. Then
50
we moved.
meters.
Well, it's a 100-meter water level. So you can put the auto level in the middle. Did you do anything like this? How big was your auto level when you did
a couple miles.
Couple of miles?
Yeah.
Well. How far did you go with your auto level? Or with your...
I used the standing body of water. They're pre-made.
You used the standing body of water? Okay. Yeah.
50 meters. So,
yeah.
Did you check how much you were looking for and what your error was on your test?
It was bang on.
Bang on. Yeah. To what tolerance?
To what tolerance? The auto level. To the millimeter.
To the millimeter.
Yeah.
Okay. And to be conformant to what the mainstream science says, how many millimeters were we looking for?
What, for level?
Yeah.
It's horizontal. I mean, like what are you talking about? I mean, millimeters for what?
Okay. Yeah.
What were you looking for?
Well, I was looking over, a much larger distance, and I was looking for substantially larger amounts of drop than that.
Drop of what?
Yeah. So
what was dropping?
What was dropping?
Yeah.
When you look through, I'm looking for the other point of the water level to be lower in the glass, lower in the sight. Like
a vertical distance down below in the crosshairs of the auto level.
In the crosshairs. It's the object appears not in the center crosshair, but below the center crosshair by a substantial difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that would be a measured vertical drop then.
You could call it that, I think.
Nice. So that would be you then establishing that the water level isn't horizontal then, right?
Well, if that's what I saw.
I mean, is that what you saw? You're telling the story.
I don't want to say what I saw. What I want.
You don't want to say what you saw.
Encourage people to go out and do this themselves.
Nice. Yeah, me too.
And to ask,
let's science the shit out of this.
I'd like to ask you, why haven't you done that?
Why haven't I done what? I've just told you I've definitely done it. We've been out there with water levels and auto levels. Yes, we've definitely done it.
Askin is a big fan of yours, I think. And I was talking to him about this, and he said that we all know that it drops with distance. Askin, can you confirm that we all know that it's going to drop?
What's going to drop?
If I look across a lake, long distance, if I look across Bedford Level, 6 miles or whatever it is, I'm going to see drop.
Nah.
Does I don't know, let's hear in the chat. How many people in the chat think there will be drop, and how many people think there will not be drop? What do you guys think?
Consensus? We're doing a consensus?
I'm just saying, what do people think? Well, it doesn't prove anything. I'm just trying to get an understanding, because we heard Bev say it's not going to drop, and he's tested it over 50 meters.
You asked me how I did it, right? 50 meters in the middle, then we moved the auto level to the side, sighted it close at 100 meters away. And then we moved it 50 meters beyond, and then we
Are there
went
any
100 meters beyond.
are there any people who believe water level is horizontal, but that there's still drop? Is that a thing we should ask? Anyone willing to go on record and say water levels are horizontal, but there's still drop?
What, horizontal drops? You sure?
No one's taken that. I don't know. Maybe
No, I
asking.
don't think horizontals
want to go on the record.
Horizontals don't drop.
But okay, so if we're clear,
No slope to a horizontal.
If we're clear, Bev, it seems like we've got a way to test it now, right? We got a way to test. If you look through a long distance and you see that the level of, according to set by some water, is visibly all at the same height in your auto level.
Do it. You sure that's you sciencing it properly?
Well, have you ever heard of Alfred Wallace?
Have I ever heard of him?
I'm not the first person to think this up.
Absolutely. That's Alfred Wallace on the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it.
Okay, and what did you see?
We saw the bridge and the sluice gates at the other end. And we saw the water all the way along it.
Shout out to Alfred Wallace. And what about the middle section? What did you see with that?
What do you mean the middle section? It was sort of in the middle of the entire stretch.
Wallace's test, as I recall, was to put 3 posts into the...
Yeah, we just did the camera thing.
You didn't do the post?
Well, I mean, I could have drawn a picture. We were there, right? Just to do our yearly pilgrimage to the home of the level. And
that's cool.
Yeah. And Rumpus is doing the flagpoles and all of that. So we thought we'd just wait until Rumpus does that.
Okay. Well, Rumpus, get off your rumpus and get out there and do it, dude.
I don't think he's going to do it.
Can you... I mean, when he sets it up, you're going to go out and see, right? You're going to go look.
Yeah, too right. My son sat in the dinghy at Bedford level, 8 inches above. We did the Rowbotham one that nobody's ever done. I don't think anybody ever even heard of it.
People do that one all the time.
One. Which one?
I've seen that one.
8 inches?
I've seen it done. Yeah. I mean, maybe it was your group, though.
At Bedford.
I don't know if I would have recognized you. But I've seen people doing it down at Bedford. Yeah, sure.
Have you ever seen the footage?
No, they didn't share footage.
No. Well, we've got footage for that. We've got the footage for the 8 inches.
Okay.
And we've also got the footage for the Wallace one. He was on the bridge.
Wallace did different. He went up a little higher.
He was on the bridge,
and he put a post in the middle.
I don't think that putting a post in the middle would be... I don't think it would make any difference, to be honest.
Why is that?
Because you can see the water all the way.
Okay, so the post in the middle would not show the supposed hump, but
it wouldn't put. Yeah, there isn't a hump in the middle. I mean, that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but that's what Alfred claimed to show, right?
Yeah, I think Sean's talking about you there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I know. He gets really bad, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You get him flack from Scorpions.
I dig that. Okay. So what I have said here, and I think we've all heard it now, is that you can test whether there's visible drop or not. Do we have an agreement? It can be tested.
Visible drop of a water level.
Of a water, yeah, like Bedford level.
Yeah, but it's a water level. It doesn't slope, right? You can't put a slope to level.
You can't just say it. You have to test it.
Could you test putting a slope to a water level? Yeah, you could do that small scale. So just try it. See if you can.
Well, we need a test sensitive enough to detect the amount that's proposed.
Yeah, right? You just use a water level and try and drop one end of it and see what happens. See if you can put a slope to it.
I don't think that's what we're saying, is it? We're saying that you want a test that shows whether or not the 3 points along the canal line up in a straight line.
See, the only reason we put those 2 points in there in the middle is so we could show a shared straight line segment. Yeah, no, I told you he wasn't frustrated with me. It's you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's because you're not calling me a coward and doing all of
disagreeing.
that stuff that he likes doing.
You know, tell me what you want, what I can say there, Sean, whatever. I got distracted there, Bev. That's my bad. Shout out to the Game of Thrones shirt. Yeah. But okay, so I think we've got a test. What I said, I think we got a test. You put 3 posts, reasonable distance above a level body of water. You sight down them. And that's what Alfred Wallace did. And would that or would that not show the levelness?
A water level would show the level.
No, that's your circular again. You said water levels are level. So if I want to question, is it level? You say use a water level. What?
No, I'd say if you want something level, you use a tool that establishes a horizontal plane. And those tools are called levels. They're definitely the best tool for checking if something is level.
But they
don't
do
use
not
a camera.
A horizontal plane. They do not. It needs to be tested.
Well, what,
it's just a claim. You're just making a claim.
What if they don't establish a horizontal plane? What do?
They establish a water level.
Is that different than an auto level?
A water level is a different tool from an auto level.
A different tool than a spirit level.
Yeah, they're well, a spirit level's probably got water in it, but yeah, they're approximately they're very similar.
It has
tools.
spirit in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have water in it. It's spirit. But they are levels. They're just different ways of finding the horizontal. To me. But okay, you're saying that you want to separate one of them, the water level.
I'm saying that you are making an unfounded claim. You're just saying it. You're not backing it up with any evidence.
It's definitely got a lot of backing behind it. A water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
Great. And you're also aware that the science they teach in the classroom says you're wrong, right?
The science.
Maybe
have you got a classroom? Are you a teacher?
Yes, I am.
Oh yeah, science teacher.
Engineering.
And you say that they don't teach that water levels are a horizontal plane of reference in engineering?
I'm saying that in engineering they do not teach that 4 risers connected by water create a horizontal plane.
Law of communicating vessels?
Yeah, we could talk about the law of communicating vessels if you like.
Does that not say to you that horizontal plane of reference?
Nope.
No.
Did you have a citation or something that you're drawing from on that?
No, I'm just saying that's one of the things that it's because you're using more than 2, right? You've got more bits established. Oh, you've got WS in there, eh? You've done well.
I'm just pointing out that the WS has identified my goal here. I'm not here to say the Earth is a globe, or I'm not here to say that water level isn't flat. I'm here to say test your assumptions. And you're making an assumption here, and saying maybe you tested it, but it doesn't seem that you have. I'm proposing there's a way you could test it. I think the easiest thing is just shoot two auto levels towards each other over a long distance.
Yeah, you don't do that sort of thing. WS hasn't coerced you into saying that, has he?
No.
Okay.
I think that shooting two auto levels at each other would establish whether or not
I think it'd be ridiculous.
they are
That would be ridiculous.
coplanar.
It would be ridiculous.
Well, hold on. You just said that if I look down a water level series, that would all be collinear, right?
I didn't say whether you look down a water level. That's not what you do with a water level. You don't cite water levels. A
But
water
just a few
level is a
minutes
tool
ago-
for establishing a horizontal plane. You don't need another level to check your level, especially a
few
water
minutes-
level, because it doesn't need calibrating. You could use a water level to help calibrate your auto level, but you wouldn't do it the other way around.
Okay. A few minutes ago, I believe you stated quite clearly that that if you look at like a level body of water, a still body of water over a long distance, you would not see drop. Did I misunderstand? I wouldn't want to misrepresent you.
Hey, you've got a vivid imagination, so you might be able to see drop. I don't know. I'm saying the water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
You're saying the way the universe works, if you line up a water level and you sight along it, every single one of those waters lines up visually in a straight line.
No, you wouldn't cite water levels. That's
Why
Slice
not?
Barkane's ridiculous test.
Why not? Why not? That's what Alfred Wallace did. You didn't seem to object to that.
Alfred Wallace didn't cite water levels.
He used the canal as his water level. Yes or no?
He used sticks.
And the canal was the level surface of reference.
He did it at the Bedford Canal, yes.
Okay, so the Bedford Canal was the water surface. It was the water level being used as the reference. Is that correct?
Alfred Wallace, as far as I know, claimed to be a surveyor and then claimed to have a hump in the middle.
Okay, so I just want to note for the record, for everyone watching, that is not the answer to my question. I asked a question. It was a yes or no question. In Alfred Wallace's test that we've heard of, the Bedford Level Canal represented a water level.
Yeah, dude, the canal is a water level. That's why they do it there.
Very good. Next,
Like,
Alfred
what?
Wallace.
Whoa, say very good. I mean, like, why do you ask childish
It's good that we
questions?
agree. It's good that we agree.
Is that the question that you wanted me to answer? Like, did
asked the
Wallace
question,
use
I
the
was waiting for
bloody
an answer,
canal
yes.
as a water level? Yeah.
Okay, next question. Next question. Then Alfred Wallace put sticks in that canal. That's I'm sure we can agree to that.
As far as we know, yeah.
Okay, and presumably, I mean, right?
Somebody
And
drew
then,
some pictures, yeah.
And then he used those sticks to establish a series of points that were exactly the same distance from that canal.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue about that. But yeah, I mean, if you want to say that's what he did.
Okay, that's what he said he did.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then cited along those.
Claimed to be a surveyor as well, didn't he?
And he cited
Uh-huh.
down those.
Yep.
So
6 miles
and if
with
you
a
did that,
telescope.
and if you did that, what do we expect to see if the water level is a horizontal plane?
I don't know.
If the water
Sticks.
level is a horizontal plane and the sticks are all at the exact same level above the horizontal plane, the sticks are in a horizontal plane.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
That's just geometry. If we sight along a horizontal plane, our sight line will be coincident with that horizontal plane. That's just geometry.
So you're sighting along the horizontal plane that's been established by the water sticks in the water level.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about it, right?
Well, no, not a surveyor wouldn't do that, no. But I mean, like that's what Wallace is claimed to have done.
Wouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe we should.
Really?
Because
Maybe
we're
you should.
realizing Euclid here. I'm putting
no
straight
Euclid.
line,
No,
sight
no,
line,
dude.
sight
Euclid.
line?
No, Euclid did not sight line anything. There was no sight line proofs.
A sight line, not a line?
Because you call it a line.
So your water level is a line, but a sight line is not a line?
Where's your 2 points?
My eyeball and the target. 2 points, straight line.
Oh, good. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Okay, so
let's
science
agree
that. A sight line is a line?
Well, I mean, are you checking me for your test? Because I hope you're going to be doing this. I really do.
I'm asking you whether that's true. That's correct, and you agree.
I will listen. If you're saying about if it's your test, I would say not me. I wouldn't do that myself. But I mean, if that's why, well, no. If you want to go with that, like I'm not going to be one to stopping you, but I wouldn't do that myself.
Yeah, you wouldn't. But why not?
Because it doesn't seem accurate enough for me. Like you're using your eye and something down the other end. I mean, how would you establish that?
How would I establish what?
Your line.
I would take 3 points, put them in what I think is a straight line. And then I would test whether they are a straight line by sighting along them.
Spaghetti.
If they are not a straight line, it should be evident. What do you think?
Like I say, I think it's ridiculous, but I mean,
take a straight line.
If you want to do it, I can't stop you.
Sight down it. If there's any curve in your line, curve, right? Then curve. What do you see? The 3 points do not line up. Right?
Jolly good.
So what I'm getting at is not I should go do my own test and then tell you what I found. What I'm getting at is before I do the test, I want to design a test that can show my peers that my peers would agree does show what I'm trying to show.
And that's why you've got us round here, because we're the most experienced in doing tests with level.
That's right. Because, I mean, you're my peers in this question, right? We're doing right?
Yeah, well, we decided right at the beginning you can't use sight. You can't use optics. You have to use physical.
Why?
Why? Because people will always say, how do you know? Like, you can't take a picture.
People will say, how do you know what? How do I know that when I sight down my spaghetti, how do I know what?
How's that a proof? Yeah, because you have to be able to come up with formulate a proof with it. Now, that would be enough for you, right? That's what you like. That is enough proof for you. It wouldn't be enough proof for me. That's why I say I don't want to use optics.
You don't want to use optics because, let me see if I got you right. I'm trying to be understanding here. You don't think that a sight line is a line?
No, Because we use a water level, because a water level does not require a sight line.
Okay, a water level is definitely level, but a sight line is not a line.
What?
If I got you correctly.
No, I don't know what you talking about. Say that again. I don't know why you said that.
A water
Make
level,
that statement again. Yeah.
a water level is definitely level.
A water level. Yeah, it's in the name. A water level is a level. Yeah.
Okay, but a sight line is not a line.
Well, a line being 2 points, the shortest distance between 2 points mathematically.
So a sight line is or is not a line.
It's not a geometric line, is it?
But a water level
line.
is a geometric level.
A water level is a tool called a level. Yes.
And it creates a geometric level.
It creates a horizontal plane of reference. A horizontal plane would definitely be geometric. Yes.
Okay, but a sight line does not create a geometric line.
I don't know. You have to explain that. Well, a water level is a physical tool. There are definitely levels of water. Right? Now, your sight line was that. How do we know?
How do we know what?
What your sight line is?
I mean, we established 2 points. I'm looking at an object, and I got my eyeball.
Yeah, that's you. I mean, how do we know? I mean, that's like I say, if that's enough for you and that's your proof, then that would be your proof.
I use a camera.
You can use whatever you want.
Take a picture of what I see.
Yes, you can.
And then you can see it too by sharing the picture.
If that's what you want to do, yeah. Of course you can. You can take a picture of something.
The point of the test, right, is that my peers agree.
Would taking a picture be a test for you? Would that be science in it enough just for you to take a picture of something?
You can use a picture as part of science, right?
I don't know. I'm checking with you.
Why not?
This is your test, isn't it?
Why not? I mean, a camera is a tool.
Yeah.
Same as a water level is a tool.
Sweet. Yeah. If you want to take a picture of your sight line.
I want to know. What I want to know is, it's very unclear to me. It seems quite arbitrary that you get to decide that a water level creates a horizontal plane without question, but a sight line doesn't create a line. How do you decide which things you're just going to accept without question and which things you're not going to accept without question?
Why do you think I'm just accepting stuff without question? I mean, like, what do you think over these let's see how many years I've been to college, I've done surveying, done building construction, I've served me time as a joiner, and then over the last 4 years been working with Spot On and the Next Level on the Level crew to develop this realizing Euclid test. Seems like you're shitting all over it for, I don't know, for some reason. Why are you doing that?
I didn't shit on it. We do need to wrap up. It's about 5 o'clock, and I know it's late for you. So let's try to wrap up. I'm going to try one more time to try to bring us together and see where we get. I think that sounds like you guys had a great time with it. You're realizing Euclid, and that's cool. I got no problem with that. No problem with it. But I want to clarify for people who seem to have misunderstood your test, that your test does not prove, does not show that water levels are level, does not show that water levels are horizontal, does not show that water levels are planar. Can you agree to that?
That's the basis of that's why we used water levels.
Right. It was accepted as a given. It was not questioned.
Well, to do a realizing Euclid test about the plane,
The fact that water levels create the horizontal plane was not to be questioned.
Well, it worked with the Euclid test to show that all parts of the water level lay within the plane.
It didn't show that. You just accepted that.
No, I think it did show that. Yeah, I think it did. I think Spot On will agree with me as well.
All right, great. So you and Spot On think that your test definitely shows that all points in a water level are planar.
Yeah, water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane. Yeah, that's
okay.
The realizing Euclid, yeah.
Okay,
within
great.
a plane.
Okay, I think we're very clear then. And then I would like to follow that up with, you have heard me say that it does not do any such thing.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the first person? I think I'm late to this party. When did you guys do this test?
Last year.
Yeah, so it's been a year.
It was about this time last year.
So it's been about a year. And in that time, have you heard from anyone else that said something similar to what I'm saying about how it can't discern that?
Well, we did have Sean G saying there is no effing hump, which I think you did say there was a hump. And he said there's definitely no hump. There has been people like you that say there's a drop, but then they sort of realise that vertical drop that's how water flows. So that does sound a little bit. You had a vertical drop measured with the auto level.
I don't think that's the question that I asked. I think Rumpus has told you before something very similar to what I'm saying now, which is that your test is incapable of discerning whether or not water levels are planar.
It's just the realizing Euclid test. I mean,
did Rumpus
I'm really
going
to have to. Rumpus has said loads of things. Mainly, they're all nasty. So you don't really get much chance to hear much about Rumpus. Yeah.
Anybody besides me? Am I the first one who's ever suggested to you that your test cannot discern that?
Cannot discern what?
Whether or not water levels are planar.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. The people have said but most of the people that have actually been involved with the test agree that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane. That's why we used it.
Right, but it
would be foolish to not use a tool that establishes a horizontal plane in order to do a test, the realizing Euclid test, and bound that very plane.
And you honestly, you're gonna tell us that that's not circular logic.
A plane is not circular.
You don't see your own circular logic. That
by using a tool that establishes a plane.
Water level is a tool to create a horizontal plane.
Mm-hmm.
I used the tool to create a horizontal plane.
Yeah, to show that no part of that plane, no part of that line can lie within the plane, and part of it without the plane.
You used a water level to create a horizontal plane.
A water level does establish a horizontal plane. And we use that.
And then you measured that horizontal plane using a water level.
Yeah, it shows a shared
and then
straight line segment.
And declared, I have proved that if I say rulers measure meters, so this is a meter, and then I measure out a meter worth of spaghetti with my ruler. That's a meter. How do I know? Because rulers measure meters. Proven. What's the problem with my logic?
Would you call that logic?
I'd call that circular.
Would you? I wouldn't call it logic, would you?
Well, it's bad logic. It's faulty. It's faulty. Same as what you're doing. All you got to do is replace ruler with water level, replace meter with horizontal plane, and the stick with your overlapping things. It's the same sequence. It's a circular sequence. And I'm struggling to see how anybody can't see that that's circular. You used a water level to prove a water level.
No,
That doesn't, no.
that's
that
not
doesn't
what we
do
were
that.
doing. Realizing Euclid.
But then you represented your test as if it proved the water level was flat.
We used a tool for establishing a plane to show that no part of that plane can lie within the plane and another part of it outside of it.
Right. That's great. As long as what you created was a plane, seems good. But if what you created was not a plane, the test would still come out same.
So you're suggesting that you should do a test to establish whether you think a water level, what it does. Because I mean, it seems like you're unsure of what a water level is and what it does.
What I'm trying to represent here is that I'm open-minded enough and imaginative enough to consider multiple possibilities, even the ones that I don't believe in. Even the ones that I think are not true, I can still imagine them, and I can design tests to see if they're true or not. Can you?
Test to see if what?
Can you imagine things that you don't believe in?
Can I what? Give us something.
Can you not?
Go on, give us an idea. What do you want me to imagine?
I want you to imagine that water is not a horizontal plane, but is in fact a giant sphere.
Sorry. Your wizardry is useless. You could have tried a bit better than that.
I could have just started with that then, because I'm going to say if you can't imagine something, you're immediately disqualified from judging it. You can't even imagine it. How could you be clever enough to test it if you can't even imagine it?
Is that science? Are we sciencing the shit out of this by imagining it first?
Yeah.
And then saying that if you can't imagine it.
I'm ready to wrap it up right there. I think that sums it up. If you can't even imagine something, then you're just not clever enough to be able to do any discernment on it. You just have to step back and let cleverer people do it for you.
To imagination.
Yeah, if you can't imagine something, you can't. I don't see how you could have enough brain power to determine whether it was true or not. And so there you are. I honestly, I don't think that's fair. I think you're more clever than that. I think you can imagine it. I think you don't want to do the test.
We've done the test.
You clearly have not.
Yeah, we have. We've done our realizing Euclid test. I mean, like you can do your test.
We're going to be honest here, right? Honesty is important. Honesty is the one important thing here. You can believe whatever you want, but you're going to be honest. You've established, you looked over 50 meters. And then when I described the Alfred Wallace test, you represented that you didn't even know that that's how it went. That's what you claimed. So no, you haven't done the test. And anything else is a lie at this point. So, and I won't stand for it. I'll happily accept that you've never tested it and that you don't want to test it. I can't tell you have to. but I won't accept that you've done the test. That's not consistent with your other statements tonight.
Well, we did do the test.
And I will not accept
I'm sorry
that you're unaware that some very clever people have told you your test does not do what you're representing that it does.
I'd be careful about those very clever people telling you things about me. Sometimes
they may be wrong.
Sometimes people lie.
Sometimes they do, but to represent that such a thing is not the case would be a lie, right? To say that you're unaware that your test is not agreed by people, that it says the things you say it says, right?
Yeah, some people are way model afflicted, and they've had their minds clouded by that model.
Right. You like to use those kinds of words, model afflicted.
Yep.
Seems like you're trying to, I don't know, create some kind of insult for people.
No. It's a reason for it. I'm just letting people know that there's a reason that you're saying what you're saying.
Yeah, there's a reason that I'm saying what I'm saying, because I'm clever enough to imagine both possibilities. I made diagrams of 3 different possibilities, and when I presented them, you didn't seem capable of interpreting them. You were just not capable. So I'm afraid that establishes that you've got a serious limitation here.
I've got a serious limitation.
Your own words, you said you can't imagine it.
Can't imagine water being a big circle.
Who is limited? The person who can imagine things they don't believe, or the person who cannot? Who is limited?
Limited by
the limits of your imagination, it seems.
Yeah.
This is starting to devolve into character assessments. Yes, it is, Rob. We're now at a character assessment. I'm happy to have you tell me you don't believe in something, but you don't get to lie on my channel. So I'm happy also for you to say you can't imagine something.
Did you just call me a liar backhandedly?
I think that's fair to say that I don't think you're being honest with me. I wonder, before we split up, is there anything you can say to me to convince me that you're being honest with me? Because I have come to the conclusion that I don't think you're being honest.
Mm-hmm. Honest about what?
I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. I think that you're fully aware that there's this other theory out there called, science, the stuff they teach in schools, stuff you find in textbooks. You're aware that that exists. Yes or no?
I've heard of science, yeah. I mean, come on.
And you're aware it does not agree with your assessments.
As far as I know, science says that a water level is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference, yes. Any shopper will tell you that you buy a water level and it is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference. Now, if it weren't, you could get trade standards for false advertising. So I'm pretty sure a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. Now, I don't know who's told you otherwise.
You've seen so-called pictures of the Earth from space?
I've seen some, yeah, in films as well. Yeah.
Right. And they show the Earth to be a spherical shape. And they show the Earth to be covered in water.
Big E. Yep.
And you're aware that mainstream science, like it or leave it, teaches us that that water on those oceans creates a big old sphere.
A water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
And this is what I call dishonesty.
What?
It was a yes or no question, sir.
What?
It's a yes or no question.
For the oceans. Yeah, the
Science
oceans
teaches us
aren't a water level.
that the oceans of our planet are a sphere. This is what we're taught, whether you like it or not.
Have tides.
Creates an almost perfect sphere.
Well, when you look out and you see the true horizon, that's horizontal, right?
You're aware, once again, yes or no question. You're aware that science teaches us, mainstream education, that the oceans of the earth create an almost perfect sphere.
I've never heard anybody say that.
You, sir, are a liar.
What?
I'll give you your last chance to say anything to make me believe you have not seen pictures that show the oceans and that they're a sphere.
Yeah, but pictures don't override a water level being a horizontal plane of reference.
So you're not honest.
Or horizontals being parallel to the plane of the horizon.
Within the mind of another person. I can't say whether you're fooling yourself or you're just trying to fool other people. But look, whether you agree with it or not, the globe is what is taught. We are taught that it's an almost perfect sphere. We're taught that it's covered with water. This is what a giant water level, we are taught does. And you know it. To represent that you don't is not honest. There is no way in God's green earth you don't know that. Okay, and everyone in the chat. Okay, anybody in the chat, you've got supporters in the chat, call me out now. Come on, call me out. I'm being unfair. Let's hear the other.
Can I just point out, right? You've brought a big ball into it, but this is about a Euclid test. Realizing Euclid.
Anybody in the chat?
A plane.
I think maybe they've all dropped out.
I think you're being really dishonest.
Okay. There's one thing I do not tolerate on my channel, and that is lying. So that's a big deal. We don't lie. Yeah. And here we are, Bev. You're caught out as far as I'm concerned. You don't believe the things that you say. And I don't think anyone should give you
believe the things that I say.
Any
definitely
time at all.
The water level is definitely. I think you should be leaving it.
It's 5:15, y'all. I promised I'd be off by 5, so I'm running late as always. Askin is here. Askin, you're the type of person that I want to be speaking to right now. Somebody who has given Bev a chance and said, his geometry sounds good. He sounds smart. He's doing tests. But he's not honest.
Do you mean I'm not honest?
It's a scam. Everything that he's done is a scam. And I don't tolerate that. That's not something we should tolerate. We are looking for truth.
Did you just call me a scammer?
Yes, you're a scammer.
What? How have I scammed anybody? What was that? That's a
you are
bad
welcome
claim, that.
To show that
what have I scammed people out of? Please
say anything to convince me.
What have I scammed people out of?
Do you not sell T-shirts?
No.
Oh, you don't sell T-shirts?
No.
Okay. Okay. Then maybe it doesn't count as a scam. Your shows are not monetized?
I've got
You don't get super chats?
No.
Okay. All right. You heard it here, guys. Bev does not sell T-shirts. He does not have super chats.
You've been told by people that I sell T-shirts. I do not sell T-shirts. Those people that have told you that, are lying to you.
Okay, that's my mistake.
About me.
There's something called T-shirt memes. I probably misunderstood what that was.
T-shirt memes. Yeah, I watch these people.
Rumpus says you sell T-shirts. I don't know.
I do
I'll
not
accept that. I'll
sell
accept that.
T-shirts via another person. No.
Okay. All right.
Rumpus,
So
you're lying.
here's
Listen,
an
don't
example.
listen to these people. I can science that. They're going to
Okay.
lead you down a bad path.
Here's an example of how to see when someone's honest. When someone's honest, they say, I made a mistake. That's my mistake. I stand corrected. Bev does not sell T-shirts, y'all. He does not sell T-shirts. I said that. I was wrong. See, that's honesty. That's how you can tell when someone's honest. Okay. All right. I'll give you the last word, dude. Take it. I'm going to shut it all down.
Okay. So this, all we came here for was the realizing Euclid test. For some reason, somebody else has decided that a water level doesn't do what it does. Because of that, I'm sorry. He's ended up calling me a liar. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Despite everything, we had a really great talk for the most part. And I'm sorry, I cannot believe you.
You got hellishly triggered at the end there.
Okay. See you all. I think that's it.
Okay. Are you going to do the test then? Are we going to get it going? Are you going to do one? Because we're definitely doing our tests again.
I've done dozens of tests, Bev.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is good because you've got backing of Rumpus. Rumpus has got all of that stuff going. He's making videos. You've got the Cambridge Skeptics. They're doing the Bedford level thing, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, I just don't believe that you believe the things that you're saying.
I don't believe that I believe. I know the things I'm saying. I've tested them. But
you told me you're not aware of what science says the Earth is and how it works.
I've never heard science say anything about that. I've just heard a load of people who claim to be science. But just because you've got science in your name doesn't make you science.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
That's fair.
I mean, you said you were an engineer, teaching engineer.
That's
correct.
You
said with the water level. You said it doesn't establish a horizontal plane, and that's what science/engineering says.
No, it doesn't. And you know that it doesn't.
You said.
So here's the thing. Here's where you cross the line with me, Bev. You cross the line from I'm wrong to I'm a liar because you repeat it. After you've been corrected, you refuse to change. Like I just showed. I said you sell T-shirts. You corrected me. I changed my position. But when you've been corrected,
to use it as an attack.
Thousands of times, Bev, you've been corrected thousands of times, and you act like you have not been corrected.
Corrected for what?
That's a lie.
Water level is definitely a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
A water level is a tool you can use to establish a horizontal plane. That doesn't mean that what you did established a horizontal plane. Not the same. Not the same. And that's another thing that's very dishonest. You keep coming back to that same script. Those words were carefully chosen to try to make it sound like you're not being dishonest. But it's pretty clear to anybody who's on top of things that those aren't the same statement.
Those words are precise.
They are
you said for clarity.
Chosen.
Yes.
They are precisely chosen
for clarity.
And they reveal your dishonesty.
What, saying a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference?
When I ask you, does that mean what you did established a horizontal plane of reference? That doesn't mean that. That's not the same thing.
What, the water levels? If you get
The
a
water
tool that
level-
establishes a horizontal plane of reference and then you lay it out, I would
Mhm.
hope that you're establishing a horizontal plane of reference. Do you not agree with that statement?
I think that you're completely aware that science teaches us that we live on a globe and it's a giant sphere. You're aware of that. So anytime you say any statement that is inconsistent with that fact, it means you're a liar. The only out you were left with was to pretend you'd never heard of the globe. But no one's going to buy that, dude.
I don't have a model.
No one's going to buy that you've never heard of the globe.
I don't have a model.
I don't care if you have a model or not. You're aware that it exists.
Yeah, but I'm not afflicted by it. It doesn't override my logic.
What you're doing is not logic. It's not logic. It's circular reasoning. It's very, very plainly obvious circular reasoning. I can't imagine it's on accident. I mean, I guess I could imagine it. You know, people do. Meat brain, monkey brain does what monkey brain's going to do, but I sure don't believe you.
You don't have to believe us. I mean, you are science, that like you can science it. So can you think of a test to be able to science whatever it is you want to try and achieve?
Yeah, I can.
So how would you do that? What would that test be?
I described two of them for you, Bev.
Yeah,
I described two of them, and here you are pretending that I did not.
But you've scienced
Either
an optics
you're mentally
test,
disabled, or you're lying. One or the other.
Have you scienced an optical test?
I described for you two different ways to do this, right? Did I not? Were you not on the stream with us?
Well, good. Okay. I mean,
do you remember what they were?
How far do you think you would? I mean, you've said you've already done it, though, haven't you?
Do you remember what they were?
I remember you.
Every time I ask a yes or no question, you try to go somewhere else with it. That's dishonest.
Okay.
Come on. You think people don't see how dishonest that is?
Right. So you said you looked out with an auto level and saw a drop.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said it was below the crosshairs.
So
you would be able to put a measuring rod in those crosshairs and measure a drop.
Yes.
Well, that would be a measured drop.
Bev.
That would be a measured drop.
You can do that same test.
An elevation change.
And yet you don't. And yet you don't do
measured drop.
I can measure it. I have measured it.
It's an elevation change. A measured drop in an auto level.
I did not say elevation change. And
in an auto level from the crosshairs.
Here's another lie.
Are you sure you know what you're talking about here within the auto level and the crosshairs?
Oh yeah.
Do you know how to measure an elevation change?
Yes, I do.
But by putting a measuring rod in the auto level's crosshairs and measuring. And you said there's a drop.
Pretty accurate out to about 100 meters.
And you said how far did you use yours for?
Miles.
So beyond the range of an auto level.
So
the working accurate range for the auto level.
For doing that test. The test you described is not the test that I did, is it? And you want to pretend that it is? You want to pretend that you're describing the test that I told you about?
You said a measured drop. You said below the crosshairs.
Did I say elevation? Did I use that word?
You used the crosshairs below.
Did I use the word elevation? Here it is again. Here it is again. Every time you do this, you're not answering yes or no questions.
You said there's a drop in the crosshairs.
Yes, I did. Did I say the word elevation?
That is an elevation change. Just because you don't know it is an elevation change, that's your fault.
It's not an elevation change.
It is.
And you pretending that you don't know what I'm talking about is a lie. This is not the first time you've had this conversation.
But you don't seem to realize what an elevation change is and how it's measured within an auto level. You've been put wrong, mate. Somebody has told you falsehoods.
You've had this conversation before, haven't you?
Don't lie to me. No, I've never had a conversation with you.
With someone else, and someone else told you the drop in elevation you see over long distances. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. The drop in the sight you see over long distances is not an elevation change.
But the drop in the sight of an auto level is an elevation change.
But
and you shouldn't use an auto level over those distances.
Are you there? Are you there? Was that the question that I asked?
Oh, what are you talking? Well, I'm just telling you. You don't seem to know how to use an auto level to establish elevation changes. That's you.
Oh, I do. I do. And what I'm telling you is that's not what we're doing. We're not looking for elevation changes. We're looking for some sign of curvature without an elevation change. How could we have a curvature without an elevation change? And here's what I'm saying to you. You are trying to pretend no one has ever said that to you before.
I'm not trying to pretend that.
No one has ever suggested to you before that you could have a visible drop without any elevation change. And that's how I know you're lying, because thousands of times you have been told this.
There's not that many people that know how to use an auto level, to be honest. There's a load of people that imagine that they know how to use an auto level.
You disagree with them. You tell people that they're wrong, but you've heard it. Over and over and over, you've heard it.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say that you're listening to Rumpus here now. Tell you that he's told me a lot of times. WS
Rumpus
then?
is not the only one who's told you this.
WS?
Name another person.
WS?
WS told you. Who else?
George Nutsack.
Okay, so now we're getting at the truth. You've heard it multiple times.
Yeah, Blue Marble Science.
Okay.
Sean G.
So this is a moment of honesty here.
Who else? Zanuck.
Good.
You know, like you. I Can Science, that's told me.
I told you.
Who else? Oh, there's loads. I forget most of them.
That's right. And so
none of them have actually done any surveying, though, right? No qualifications in surveying. Pardon?
You ever spoken to Jesse Kozlowski about it?
Yeah, Jesse Kozlowski said the water level, it drops from the horizontal, and it is measurable. So that's where you're going wrong, because Jesse Kozlowski said it was measurable. Now you say it's not measurable.
Bev is a liar.
What?
Once again, Bev is a liar.
Why?
You said none of them has ever done surveying. And the very next time you agreed, Jesse Kozlowski.
No, I didn't say he'd done surveying.
Who is a professional surveyor.
I don't know he's a professional surveyor.
Told you this, and you just don't care.
No, I just said that Jesse Kozlowski said that the water level drops from the horizontal.
That's what we're talking about, dude.
Yeah,
that's
but he's not. He can't be a surveyor when he says something like that, right? That sort of. It says he isn't a surveyor.
Every single one of us.
Because a surveyor wouldn't say something so fucking ridiculous.
Every single one of us is telling you the same thing, and you pretend we're saying something different. And there's no way that you believe that that's true, because we're all working off the same model. You could say, I don't have a model, but all of us are working off the same model. We're all doing the same tests. We all have the same results.
That a water level is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane.
I'm in agreement with Jesse Kozlowski. I've talked to him about it.
Oh, have you?
I talked to Rumpus about it.
Nice.
I've talked to WS about it. We're all in agreement. The only one...
You, Rumpus, Jesse Kozlowski, and WS. Right, just me.
The only one who says we are not in agreement is you. And that makes you either, I don't know, like insane or just a liar.
Oh, are they the two options? What about the
That's
people
about
that they're
it.
telling you might be? Are you trust them?
I didn't say whether I agreed with them.
You
I
didn't
said we're
say
all in
whether you
agreement.
trust them either, didn't you?
I didn't say I trust them.
No,
No,
I don't. Yeah, that's
that wasn't the
wise.
question, though, was it? This whole time, this entire time, I've been saying I'm willing to entertain your description, your hypothesis. I'm willing to entertain both, absolutely willing to. The only one model afflicted isn't me.
Take a big gulp.
All right, it's late. It's very late for you. Thanks for coming anyway. I assume this is the last time we'll talk, but yeah, we'll see. If you have something new, some other way to go at it.
Yeah, get your test sorted and we'll chat. I thought that's why you wanted to chat with us, because we're the ones that are most experienced. There's no point in me doing a test. Tests for levels. Like, we are, I think, the most experienced.
There's no point. You're hilarious, dude. You are hilarious.
Why?
You're the most experienced. There's people that work at CERN, man. Come on.
No, I mean, for level, for doing in, like in this arena, going out, performing tests with auto levels. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else who's done as much as we have.
Fucking Kozlowski.
Wow.
Come on, man. Act like you don't know. Act like you have experience in this.
Jesse's gone.
Come on, man.
Jesse's gone. He's not coming back. Admit it. He's not coming back.
I talked to him earlier today.
Yeah, he's not coming back to sort of help anybody out, though, is he?
I talked to him about it earlier today. He's not interested in talking to you.
I know he's not going to come back and tell you that the water level drops from the horizontal.
Sure he will.
I hope so. Get him to do a video about how the water level, how you can measure it.
There's no point. Here's the thing about me doing a test. I do lots of tests. I don't share them because my tests have no impact on you.
You don't do it for me. I didn't do a test for you. Me and Spot On did it for me and Spot On.
Right. Okay. Well, that's cool. I guess that's why you don't really share it, is it? People have said you don't share the video of it.
I was doing it live at the canal.
Yeah,
you could have gone. Anyone could have gone into the Discord server and recorded it. We had phones running all day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree. That seemed like a really weird thing.
What does?
To say you didn't share the video. It's like, what?
Look, I'm in my house now. The video gets recorded and from here. If I'm out on the canal, how do I press record here?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It doesn't seem that hard. But
no, anyway. Every time we go out live and put it to Discord, and then people in Discord can record it.
Okay. Well, anyway, I got to get going. If you ever do come up with a test, I'll tell you what, if you ever think you come up with a test that instead of just verifying your bias, if you think the test can actually discern something useful or interesting in any way, please run it by me. I'll tell you what I think about what it could discern. And before you spend days and hours doing your test that everybody with an engineering degree is going to tell you doesn't do anything. God, I got sunscreen in my eyes. Sweating in here. Anyway, hit me up. I'll tell you what I think. Somebody with an engineering degree would tell you about that test. We've got lots of ways.
Well, we will definitely be asking more people about the realizing Euclid test.
Okay.
And showing people. Okay.
All right. I think that's gonna cover it.
Okay.
Hit me up anytime. Probably won't lurk around in your channel much though.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. Door's always open. If you come up with any tests or any of your guys want to come up with a test or anything, need any help, give us a shout. We're always there to help out.
I'm not gonna bother because you've heard of them, but you pretend you have not. Right?
Heard of what?
I told you
Your
about two tests earlier during this stream, and you're already pretending that I didn't.
Yeah, I'd say like, that's optics. We don't really deal with that. But I mean, once we've established this straight line in the plane, then we can, we've got other tests for optics to get into in the second half.
I can make a whole list of tests. I have a list of 20 actually on my YouTube, 20 cheap and easy tests anyone can do for less than $100. And
yeah, that's what ours were. Less than 100 quid. I mean, we've seen if we can get a few of us together. We might be able to get, if we can get 4 of us together.
Get Mike Jones to, isn't that his name? He claims to have a lot of money. Get him to fund something.
It's not
anyway.
About that.
Yeah, you've seen it. You've seen the stuff. You just don't care. I mean, that's the truth of it. You've seen these tests. You just won't do
I care.
You won't do the test.
I care.
Instead, you do a test that is guaranteed to give you the result that you want.
Well, realizing Euclid.
Citing 50 meters. Citing 50 meters is guaranteed to give you the result that you want.
It's not citing 50 meters. Why
you told me you did it. You told me you cited 50 meters.
Yeah, and then we cited 100 meters with it. Did we like a 2-peg test?
100 meters is still guaranteed to give you the same result.
Uh-huh.
And you know that.
I know. See, otherwise, like you're saying you should cite it, but then now you're saying it won't give you a difference. It doesn't make any difference. You're the one.
That's why you need to run it by somebody before you do the test.
I don't think I should
be
doing running
useless
anything
tests,
by you. I don't think.
I can't imagine
you don't know what an elevation change is.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I climb mountains. I know about elevation change.
I mean, measuring an elevation change.
Sure do.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely do.
From an established benchmark.
Yeah. Sure, I know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A change on the vertical. Measured by a tool
against
called a level.
The difference from the vertical datum.
Uh-huh.
Right? Elevation is from a datum.
Mm-hmm.
Not from a sight line. And there's a reason. There's a distinct reason you can't use a sight line to measure elevation over long distances. Do you know what that reason is?
Over long distances?
That's right. Yeah. We better define what a long distance is. A mile?
That's far too long, isn't it?
Yeah. Why? Why?
Well, because you don't use optical devices for establishing.
Why you don't use optical? Is it because light travels in a wiggly, curvy corkscrew? No, it's not because of that. Must be another reason.
Probably because you can't see on your scope enough. Probably to keep within a millimeter accurate, right? You need to keep within the scope's range to keep to a millimeter. No. Yeah, because normally when you're surveying that
wouldn't work. If you wanted millimeter accuracy over long distance, what tool would you use?
An auto level.
No.
Yeah, you would.
No, auto level isn't even a surveying tool. It's a construction tool.
What?
An auto level isn't even a surveying tool. You talking about a theodolite?
No, I'm talking about an auto level.
Yeah. Auto level is primitive. You'd use a GPS. Modern surveyors use GPS now. I don't know if you've been around in the past,
How accurate are GPS?
Centimeter.
That's not good enough. That's not to the millimeter, is it?
Then you need to do from a, I think you can only get a centimeter accuracy. That's true. So if you need it to a millimeter, you're going to have to go to an established benchmark first, and then walk your way in small stages.
Yeah, with an auto.
And the reason you have to walk your way in small stages is because the sight line deviates from level. Oh my God. So anyway, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I think you should.
All right. I'm out there. So catch you later.
All right. See you later, dude. Thanks a lot. Coming home. He's coming home. He's coming home. All right, guys. How was that? Was that okay?
Oh,
You
man.
can say that, yeah.
Bev, I have to say, right, if we could have
We're still live.
summed up, if we could have summed up everything in one go, like over, oh, hang on, I can still hear the bot. That means you can as well.
No, I can't. I turned the bot down.
Oh no, hang on. I have to turn it down. Sorry.
To kick it.
Yeah, you basically everything that we've gone through in the last couple of years, that kind of thing, it's all been summed up in that one.
Yeah.
Just that one. It was sublime.
All
I don't know
of the
any other
people
word for it.
that have
That
been
guy.
telling us.
Oh,
You're going to have gold for weeks with this thing.
yeah.
Beautifully done, mate.
Thank
Done
you.
us proud there, mate.
Yeah, he's severely model afflicted. I sort of feel sorry for him because he's been led into that by Rumpus, WS.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think he's a fucking dick.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, and I did notice that sugar cookie in the background. It's like
I'll second that.
horizontal, like right in the background. True.
Shout out
Horizon.
Shout out to Sugar Cookie. We none of us noticed it till like it was almost over, like 20 minutes before it ended.
Yeah.
And Sugar Cookie goes, "Wait a minute, there's a little horizontal right behind him."
Yeah, it's like, has nobody ever fucking seen this yet? Hold on a second. It's been sitting there right in front of our faces the whole time.
I did say to him, the true horizon is horizontal.
Yeah,
you did.
That's because I'd seen that in his background.
Yeah.
Just clicked.
Oh,
It was kind of funny. Like some of the times when you were saying stuff to him, like I would just be making comments, so like kind of like, Mystery Science 3000 over here, and you would kind of be hitting on the same points. Kind of funny.
The spaghetti. What did you think about the spaghetti?
Spaghetti on a phone. Oh, come
Spaghetti
on. Realizing
on a phone.
Euclid.
Realizing Euclid.
We have to use our spaghetti friend.
Yeah, Emma put it out there. I was laughing my ass off.
He actually has spaghetti everywhere, so we've got videos, everything to come.
It was getting a bit floppy at the end as well, wasn't it? It started off nice and straight, and then it was getting all limp.
I think it got all hot and sweaty in his grubby little paws.
Oh. Right. Anyway,
I am afraid that.
Go on.
I am afraid that he was listening to some advices in the background.
It was definitely
that's
looking
why
at his camera.
They were conflicting with each other, so he was just stupid. It looks so stupid.
Okay, thanks a lot for watching, people. I've got to go out tomorrow, and I'm going to have to be up really early. So,
cheers,
the things we do for the cause. But the next level Discord server, we're not flat earthers, all right? Thanks for watching. Join us again. We may be back over the weekend, because Christ knows what